Jesus and the disciples have gone over to the other side of the Lake of Galilee by boat. Now the disciples, they don't often go over to this side of the lake. Perhaps they've heard that the people who live there are a bit peculiar. I don't know. But one way or another, they decide to go for a walk. And they haven't gone far when they find themselves wandering through a graveyard. As they're walking through this graveyard, suddenly a crazy guy appears. And I do want to emphasise, this guy was not just a bit peculiar. Oh no. I mean, just for starters, he wasn't wearing any clothes. That is always a bad sign. Then there's the little detail that he's living in a graveyard. That's not normal behaviour. You've got the classic saliva dribbling down the chin and into the beard. He's got gashes on his arms where he's been hitting himself with a rock. And just for good measure, he's been rolling in poo. This guy has gone the extra mile when it comes to going cuckoo. And the guy, he leaps up and he starts running towards the disciples. And as he's running towards the disciples notice a little detail that had escaped them. You see, on the ground, there are some broken chains. Yep, that's right. Crazy guy had been chained up by somebody to stop him from hurting people. So now the disciples have crazy naked guy running towards them, swinging iron chains that are still round his wrists. There are a lot of things about this guy which are saying, stay away. So that's what the disciples do. They peg it. Not Jesus, though. Jesus just stays there. And you can imagine that once the disciples feel they're a safe distance, and maybe have hidden behind a gravestone or two, there's a quite frantic conversation. Peter goes, John, I can't find Jesus. I can't find Jesus. So the disciples, they peek out from behind the gravestone. And John goes, well, I can see Jesus. He's with crazy guy. Oh no, goes Peter. I bet crazy guy has eaten him. Not so much, says John. In fact, crazy guy is kneeling down in front of him. Okay, goes Peter, that is a good sign. However, I am going to stay hiding behind my gravestone for now, if it's okay with everybody. As a matter of interest, says Peter, what are they doing? Well, they're talking, goes John. Jesus has asked him his name. Okay, says Peter, that's quite normal. Not really, goes John. Why not, says Peter. Well, says John, the guy says that his name is Andy. There's nothing wrong with the name Andy, goes Peter. I hadn't finished, said John. He says his name is Andy, and Dave, and Robert, and Arthur, and Kevin, also Jamie. And this went on for some time. In fact, eventually the crazy guy just went, look, call me Legion, for we are many. Now in those days, a legion was 5,000 soldiers. This guy felt like he had 5,000 demons living inside him. And those demons, they say to Jesus, Jesus, we know who you are. We know you're the Son of God. Please don't send us to hell. And they say, Jesus, there's a field nearby here. And in that field there's some pigs. Please send us into the pigs rather than back to hell. And Jesus agrees. And the demons leave the man and go into the herd of pigs. And as they go into the herd of pigs rushes down a hillside into the lake and are drowned. Although legend has it that one survived. Meanwhile, back in the graveyard, crazy guy is stood there in his right mind. And all the villagers come from the towns around about. And they come to Jesus. And they can see this guy who was completely wacko, absolutely healed. And they look at Jesus and they're scared of him. They're scared of all this power that he has. And they say to him, please go away. So he does. And as Jesus and his disciples are climbing back in the boat to go back over to the other side, that guy who'd been crazy, he comes over to Jesus and he says, Lord, can I go with you? And Jesus says, no. He does, modestly. Jesus says, no. God's got something else for you to do. You need to go and tell everyone around here all that God has done for you. And you know, that's a Christian's job. A Christian has been saved by Jesus and given a place in heaven for all eternity. And their job is to go and tell everybody else all the good things that Jesus has done for them. That way those people might just come to believe and might just get a place in heaven as a result. It's the greatest way we could ever help anybody.